Anxiety disorders affect 40 million adults in the U.S. alone, or 18.1% of the population every single year. These disorders are highly treatable, yet only 36.9% of people struggling are currently receiving treatment. This could be for financial reasons, or accessibility issues, or just something entirely different. But what I do know is that many mindfulness activities are free and really easy to practice, and mindfulness activities have been found to be most effective at treating anxiety disorders specifically. So, my name is Samara, and my project highlights the importance of mental well-being and the potential that mindfulness has to help us in our day-to-day lives. So, for the first part of my project, I researched several different mental disorders that have been found to be exceptionally responsive to mindfulness. So first we have generalized anxiety disorder, or GAD, which is when someone worries about ordinary issues excessively and nearly every single day for a minimum of 6 months. Then we have panic disorder, which is characterized by panic attacks or sudden repeated periods of intense fear when there is no true danger present. Then we have phobias, which are an intense fear of something specific that poses little to no threat realistically. And you've probably heard of some common ones like claustrophobia or arachnophobia, but there's actually hundreds of different kinds of phobias. And then we have depression, which is a mental disorder that causes persistent feelings of sadness and hopelessness and affects virtually every aspect of how one thinks, feels, and behaves. So what actually is mindfulness? Mindfulness is the basic human ability to be fully present, aware of where we are and what we're doing, and to not be overly reactive or overwhelmed by what's going on around us. So yes, mindfulness really means something different for everyone because different things are going to work to relax different people. So here's some of my favorites that I tried for my project. So first we have meditation. Meditation doesn't necessarily have to be super formal or fancy or anything. For me, it consisted of mostly just taking a moment out of my day to sit somewhere quiet and focus and just reflect on how I was feeling. Initially, I'm going to admit that I was somewhat doubtful of meditation. I thought it was a hoax or something, but the more I did it, I actually started to really enjoy it, and it just became really easy to relax while meditating. It's also really great because it doesn't require any preparation, and it's just overall a really great and healthy practice to handle stress. Studies show that benefits for meditation can work on mental health and actually physical health. So meditation has been found to really help people with chronic pain, which is something great. Next I did art, and art was pretty good for me because I've always enjoyed art, and it was great to discover that I could use it as a part of mindfulness. I painted pictures using several different kinds of paint, but I found watercolor to be my favorite out of all the different mediums that I tried. On the left and right are 2 different watercolor paintings that I did, and the goal wasn't necessarily for them to be amazing or like the best, but just for me to enjoy the experience and feel relaxed after doing it, which I did. And then in the middle there, for my community connection, I went to Your Fired and painted pottery, which is a picture in the middle. And then studies show that painting is good for psychological resistance, which is the brain's ability to cope with negative emotions. And that's great, especially for people with mental disorders that are going to feel a lot of negative emotions. So I read 3 different books this semester. The book on the left is called Meditation, A Way of Awakening, and I used that to deepen my knowledge of meditation. And then in the middle, Devil and the Bluebird is a book that I just picked up for fun. And then on the right, The Catcher in the Rye is a book that is just an old favorite of mine. So there are really countless studies about the benefits of reading. But one of my favorite quotes is, "Reading as little as 6 minutes a day can improve your quality of sleep, reduce stress levels by 60% by reducing your heart rate, and it can reduce muscle tension." I'm not going to lie, sometimes it's a little bit hard for me to pick up a book, but once I did, reading really served as a great distraction from irrational stressors, which I struggle with. So there are millions of people suffering from anxiety in the United States alone, and more than half of all Americans will be diagnosed with a mental disorder at some point in their life. Still, traditional approaches to treating mental disorders, such as medication and therapy, are not available for everyone, and also just don't work for everyone. The more people we teach how to utilize mindfulness, an approach that we all have the ability to try, the more we can work together to help each other through mental illness. My project was successful because I discovered and reflected on new mindfulness techniques that can be useful for years to come. I truly believe that with a little motivation, we all have the capability to be mindful.
Thank you.